Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mark Burris. I'm glad to have you with us right off the bat here. Got a little bit different setup today. So if you hear anything strange or something doesn't look quite right, don't hesitate to let me know. Got the same background, but got a whole different light set up in a whole different room. Pretty much, well, got the same tripod, same camera, same microphone. Most everything else has changed. Let me know what you're drinking this morning, what kind of project you may have going on. If you got questions about lighter repair, we'll fuel up some EDCs here in a little bit. Got some lighters out here that have been projects over the last couple of weeks. That one doesn't have any fuel in it. These right points did have fuel in them. I think the pocket model still does. I'm not sure if there's been a video. I've got, I think, 3 videos recorded on these, but I don't think any of those have actually been published yet. Had this Thorn's double claw table lighter that I picked up at a local antique mall a few months ago, and actually a couple of weeks ago when Eastwa Dune Flam joined us, he mentioned this lighter, and when I got it, it appeared to be actuating correctly anyway. Good morning, Professor. Glad to have you with us. Natha, glad to have you with us this morning. And I won't go into the details as to what was wrong with it. I paid $20. Good morning, Gary. Paid $20 for this at the antique mall, and it had a tag on it that said for parts only. And anyway, it's a good working lighter now. May have another project or two to go with this lighter, depending on how this wick that's in it works out. So you can keep your eyes open for that too. I think there's already 2 videos on cue for this lighter. One where we correct its inability to spark, and the other one where we put a wick in it. Wick, wadding, all that good stuff. Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad, Mark. I got to admit, I still, I never, at least to this point, it's been almost 7 years since I've had a drink, and I don't recall ever having a thought where actually drinking was a good memory, the drinking itself. But man, I still struggle with the snuff. It took me so long to quit dipping snuff. It's way harder than quitting cigarettes. And even though that habit, it's really the least rewarding of all of those type vices you could have, but there's still something sort of romantic about having a dip in my mouth. And I haven't had a dip in my mouth in, about 4.5 years. But I'll stand by my previous statements. I don't think that smoking tobacco is a good idea at all. And Probably dipping it, chewing it, any way that you're going to use a tobacco product. I had a buddy a while back talking about smoking cigars and the fact that you don't inhale them. And I don't know, maybe that's not too bad for your health, but I think you're probably still running the risk of mouth cancer just like you are with snuff. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox, but in general, I would say tobacco products are a bad idea. So glad to have so many of you here with us right off the bat, and especially so many of you regulars. We also have Arthron of Fur 3. Good morning to you. Glad to have you with us. We got Mark, Gary, Naphtha, the professor. If you're in the chat and haven't said hello, make sure and chime in. Let us know you're here. If you got a question about lighters or a project you're wanting to undertake or whatever, even if it's not repair questions. I saw a question in one of the Facebook lighter groups yesterday about an old lighter that was marked. I believe in that post the author said that it was a World War II era lighter. I don't know that this is a World War II era lighter, and I certainly don't know what metal this is constructed of. It's pretty heavy, but it was the marking on his lighter that got my attention. It was a different, if it was made by the same company, it was a different model of lighter because it had a slip case that slipped off the bottom, but it was similar in that the lighter mechanism itself did not come out of the case, just like it doesn't in this one. It's not an insert per se, it is just permanently part of the case. Where in that lighter, the fueling was done by removing the bottom, and it wasn't the full bottom, like a full slip case. It was just like, I don't know, maybe a third. But this lighter has a typical regular fuel screw. But if you look at it, and it's marked, the bottom part of that I think says 801, but it's marked D ampersand CO. So what would seem to me to be D and Company, an abbreviation of it, and maybe the D is even an abbreviation of, I'm sure, some kind of larger name. You wouldn't think that just D and Company would have been the whole name of the company, but I'd have to go back and watch the video to see. I don't remember what I discovered when I was doing any research I might have done for this lighter. But I can't even see that right now to see is there a period after the D. That would seem to me to at least indicate that it had been abbreviated. Hello, Azrael. Glad to have you with us. I hope that you guys are all doing okay as the weather has been toward the cold side here in Oklahoma City. Not terrible. We haven't been below freezing, but maybe 1 or 2 nights so far. But summer's definitely gone, and more times it's been rare in the last few weeks that I've been able to leave here without having to have a jacket on. What do you guys think of the Thorn's table lighters? They don't seem to bring quite the premium on eBay that the pocket models do. Seems like you can get a table lighter a little bit cheaper, but really nifty lighters. This one's got some strange kind of corrosion or discoloration of the plating. I'm not sure exactly what that is. And I can't read that. I think that just says, does it say Thorns? That says Thorns up here. Oh, Fab Swiss. Thorns Fab Swiss. Got your fuel chamber, spare flint compartment. And when I got it, it wasn't sparking and it didn't have a wick or any wadding in it. But it seemed to be working pretty good. The mechanism seemed to snap like it should. So anyway, you'll have to watch that video to see how that got around to be in working condition, but still tinkering with it some. Probably have another, like I said, there's 2 videos in queue already. We'll probably have at least another wicking video. And also, I would appreciate you guys chiming in. Let me know what color you think. I'm going to put a felt pad on the bottom of that. What color do you think would look best? I think green is probably the most common. I used red. Let me grab that real quick. That's another benefit of this current setup. Is I got everything right behind me here. Anyway, I'd put this red pad on the bottom of that park lighter. What color do you think would look best? I've got some purple. Purple might look good, but I don't know if how good that would look with the burst pattern of that stone there. Maybe yellow. Let me catch up on the chat here. Looks like I've fallen behind a pretty good ways. Okay, Mark said, I wonder if it would be possible to flatten the bottom of a billiard ball and mount a lighter on it. I don't know. I don't know exactly what all those billiard balls are made out of. I know some of them are made out of some of the technological plastics that came out in the, I don't know, was it the 30s, 40s? You see those Larry Leiter posts all the time in the Facebook groups about Catalan and Bakelite, Perspex. But yeah, anyway around it, I would think. Now, I don't know how they machine this. I think this is, I don't know, you see it listed as onyx. Trying to remember what other kind of, it's some kind of stone, so I guess they would probably cut and buff that, and you could saw through it and then shine it up. But as far as cutting a plastic ball or a billiard ball to do the same thing, I think it would depend on what the material is made out of. And you can machine that plastic too, so I would think one way or another, Mark, you'd be able to figure out a way to either machine the bottom of it flat or saw it flat and then finish the edges. Yeah, was it Mark that mentioned gumbo? My wife's family's from Louisiana, and that's something I've eaten plenty of, is chicken gumbo. I know there's all kinds of different gumbos: shrimp gumbo, sausage, seafood gumbo. But the one that I have partaken of the most, and especially in my own home, was the chicken gumbo. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. NAFTA says an 8-ball lighter would be cool. It would be cool. I might have to keep my eyes open. And I've got a couple of mechanisms around here that came out of table lighters that I retained, simply hoping to find something to put them in. Now that Thorns, it might be ideal as far as the size. And this particular mechanism insert is very similar in the bottom part to all those cylindrical table mechanisms that you see in so many table lighters. It's basically shaped the same way on the bottom. Those vary in size somewhat, but yeah, that's breakfast is important, Professor. Something I didn't see most of my life. Was not the most well-nourished person, and simply by choice. When you're working and you got things to, it seems like from the minute you wake up in the morning until you go to bed, it's just there wasn't time for breakfast. I'm a lot better about that today. No pancakes for me though. I don't eat carbs, sugar, but I'm all about the eggs. That's a staple. Mexican style hot chocolate, Arthron says, with bread. Also working on a PC project. Oh, cool. Is that your vocation, Arthron? The PC project? And also, Arthron, where are you located? Did you say that earlier? Yeah, it sounds like your gumbo has a little bit of everything in it, huh, Mark? Yeah, I didn't think about a meal. My dad worked on a meal for a long time. My dad was a foreman in a machine shop, and most of the actual work that he did was work on a mill. I've been around a lot of engine lathes. That's not a skill that I ever gained. My dad didn't work on those kind of machines either. But whether it be a lathe or a mill or a saw and then buffing it and shining it up by hand, and there's a number of ways you could go about it. But to some degree it may depend on the actual, the material that the pool ball was made out of, or billiard ball. But I'm going to keep my eyes open. Like I said, I know that some of those are made out of those plastics that came around in the middle of the last century. But I think some of them may be, surely they're not all plastic. Seems like some glass, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe not glass. Maybe that's too... I think I would have, before I knew that some of them were made out of plastic, I think I would have assumed they were made out of some form of glass. That's probably completely ignorant, though. So what is Delrin, Mark? Is that a kind of plastic? Oh man, yeah, I wish I could say that, Professor. But the older I get, the harder the cold weather is. You know, 30 degrees is not that bad. 20, even in the teens, is not all that bad if there's no wind. But there's always so much wind around here that any kind of cold is just bitter for me. Yeah. Do you think it's even that high, Azrael? Yeah, I'm with you too, Gary. I think all the Thorns are cool, and I've never even owned a Oriflamme or Vedette, Lucky. I've owned single claws, double claws, and maybe it. Single and double claws, I think. But Azrael, I don't know. I think that may be a little bit optimistic to say 1 out of 10 people would have a reusable, cool lighter, or interesting lighter, rather than just a disposable. There's so few people that actually, well, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to figure, because for one, a lot of people don't even, I'd say at least half the people that collect or tinker with, buy, sell, trade, whatever their position in the hobby is, I'd say there's no more than 50% of them that actually smoke. But then you take the number of smokers out there that use disposable lighters, man, I don't know, it might be 99%. Okay, Mark says, Delrin is a very durable thermoplastic used for many applications, knife handles and scales in production knives. Okay. Huh. I'd never heard of that particular material before. Okay, Arthron is in Florida. And you're telling me to be prepared for the cold next week? Yeah, I've already I mitigated a little bit of this last winter by just wearing long johns all winter. I don't even question it. It's just what I put on in the morning. That way I've got an extra layer. So I've already started that. It's not an everyday thing just yet, but it's been most days for the last couple of weeks. So I'm not going to be taken too much by surprise. I appreciate you letting me know. And I don't pay too much attention to that forecast most of the time, especially in the winter, because it's just different degrees of cold. But like we're a high of 70, I think 71 today, with lows have been in the 40s and 50s at night. But I did notice this morning that out on that 10-day we had some lows down in the 30s. And I don't know, you may know something I don't. Is it about to be worse than that? So y'all think the red felt would look good on there? How would the red felt look with the, I don't know what you would call that, whatever causes the stone to be a different color? Red might be good. Like I said, I've also got, I think I got purple, yellow, green, maybe blue. And we'll also see how it's best to stick it on. This has been really durable. This is just a piece of cardboard that was basically fitted to cut to fit inside of the little lips there. And then it's double-sided tape that's holding the felt to the cardboard. So we'll try the double-sided tape, but I think on that stone we may end up having to glue it. So that'll be fun. Haven't cut a round one before. See how precise I can use a pair of scissors. Azrael says green or blue. Yeah, I think blue might look good. Excuse me. I tend to want to do a color other than green simply because that's what you see on so many of them. I think the color that the Parks had on them from the factory was sort of a charcoal, sort of a grayish static color. But I thought the red would look good, and it does. And I think the red would probably stand out on just about any lighter, but it seems like I ought to be able to pick a color that would contrast with the orange burst pattern there. Sort of rust. That's why I thought maybe yellow. That may not be enough though. Blue might be good though. So we'll see. Gary says light brown. Yeah, maybe. Maybe light brown would be a good one. Professor says the red. Mark says blue. Yeah, I think green would look good. But one reason why on the ones that I've done in the past that I didn't use green is I want it to be clear that it didn't come from the factory that way. That it had been redone, reupholstered, for lack of a better term. What? I'm a little bit confused what you're saying, Azrael. You say you definitely look better than that of you in your old video thumbnail. Are you talking about my physical appearance in the old video thumbnails? I'm confused. Ivory pool table balls were a thing. Well, that's interesting. Arthron, I wonder how did they color ivory? How did they make that different colors? I'm just curious. Okay, Naphtha says that he thinks that Delrin is the same plastic that Bic lighters are made out of, polyoxymethylene. Yeah, I'm not sure what your comment about even in the U.S. was about either, Azrael. So remind me what you're talking about definitely look better than that of you in your old video thumbnail. And what were you talking about in the U.S.? Oh, you say I look like a totally different person? Now, tell me, I guess I was in a video last week, wasn't I? I forgot about that, when the spring flew across the room. Is that what you're talking about? Well, I got a little bit longer hair than I may have had when my face was on all the videos. And I think when the videos started, when I first started being in the videos, that was a couple years ago. I think right at 2 years ago. Well, late December, early January, so almost 2 years ago. My hair was pretty short. I just cut it. And I wore a hat in all those videos where I didn't have a hat on last week. So my hair is pretty long. And while I did have, I think I had mutton chops when I first started putting my face in those videos. But yeah, I've actually got a beard now, so I could look pretty close to the same in just a few minutes if I get the razor out. Get the razor out and put the hat on. Well, that may get interesting. It's not been bad around here, Arthron. 3 years ago, my daughter and son-in-law got married October 24th, and then like a day and a half later, we had a historic ice storm. Let me think about this. I think it was ice that then dumped a ton of snow down on top of that. It shut the city down for a good while. I didn't have power over at my place in Mesta Park for over a week. It was like 10 days before I got power back. So I'm not going to complain either way. I just know that the colder it gets, the more hard it is on my bones, and it's just, I don't know, it's a lot different than it was when I was young. Weather didn't really affect me, hot or cold, when I was younger. And I can still handle the heat okay, but man, the winter, the cold is something else. Yeah, I know people like that, Scott. But, yeah, it's just, for the winter, like I said, excuse me, I wear a vest almost all the time in the winter and long johns, and that will, that's like giving me an extra layer of skin almost. Okay, Mark says that the old-timer knives that were made by Schrade, the brown handles were that Delrin material. And I've never owned one of those, Mark, but, well, I have owned some of those. I just, in, lots of lighters and other old stuff that I bought. So I know what you're talking about, but I'm not that familiar with them. Never had one in my pocket for a long period of time or anything like that, but I am familiar with what you're talking about. So Azrael says red would be good. I think red would probably be good too with the color of the stone. I don't know for sure what Praetorian blue is. Arthron says the Praetorians used purple. Yeah, I'm not going to choose it by way of what kind of affiliation that might mean. I'm going to choose it simply for what looks the coolest. That's kind of been my my philosophy, is what looks cool and isn't green. Okay, the name's in blue and the wrench. Gary, that is people who are, well, I don't know exactly the term they use, moderators or admins in the group. So you can see right now the professor, Azrael, and Naphtha, who have all been with us for a long period of time, going all the way back. I'm trying to think who else. I know Dylan DePie has the wrench. I can't remember if there's anybody else or not. But that would be, there's 3 in here right now, so Dylan would make number 4. But basically, they can delete comments if somebody makes an inappropriate comment or posts a pornographic link or something like that. We haven't had too much of a problem with that kind of stuff. But we have, I can think of at least twice, maybe 3 times. I don't know, maybe my memory's bad and there were 4. I don't think there were more than that though. So a handful of times we've had somebody come in and post a link and it needed to be. But there are some other circumstances that could arise where it's beneficial to have other people other than just me. Sometimes I'm sitting here looking at the screen, you know, here on the camera where I'm shooting it. I've got it over here. It's usually a little bit further than that, but I've got the iPad over here to where I can monitor and see the chat. But in case I get locked in over here on this screen talking about a lighter or taking a drink of coffee, we've got other people in the chat there who can deal with those if those kind of problems arise. Yeah, very, very, very rare that people use a Zippo. Very rare. Pretty rare that you even see an actual Zippo in a movie or TV show anymore. It's usually just cheap lighters that you really can't even, maybe even identify. Dime a dozen butane lighters. Sofa King, glad that you have joined us. There you go. Moderator was the right word. I was thinking admin, moderator. Be glad to talk about any projects that you guys have questions about. If you got anything you're wanting to do with the lighter and wondering how difficult it is to re-wick or clean out the flint tube in a certain lighter, and you might even give me an idea for a video by asking those questions if I have the lighter to work on. Well, I gotta say, Azrael, I appreciate you saying that. I don't think I'm a terribly vain person. but I do like the way it looks. It's the only thing keeping me from cutting the hair, because when it gets this long, it's a nuisance. I'm tired of it, but I like the way it looks. So there you go. Yeah, pick on who you want, Gary. We're a good-natured group here. That's just for, I can't even think of anybody ever coming in here and being rude or anything like that. It's the only reason I can really think of. I mean, even if they did come in here, I think most of us can handle somebody being rude. It's really just a matter of like, if a link, I don't want pornographic links sitting there or anything like that. Yeah, I got a pair of Under Armour, and I've got a couple other pair of the older type that aren't quite that good, but I need to get, you said polypropylene. I don't know if that's what Under Armour are, but those are pretty good. I like the Under Armour. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. That's yeah. I get the blue part of the purple, Mark, but it's difficult for me to imagine that red shade of purple. But yeah, maybe I know what you're talking about. But I also know what you're talking about when you say your old eyes. Yeah, Professor, I'm not sure if I knew that or not, that only moderators could share or post links. I get updates all the time about this or that, and it seems like often they'll come up and say that this thing is going to change, and it doesn't change when they say it's going to. It's much later. Yeah, good point. Mark says posting a link to mass quality Bic lighters for purchase might get you banned. It always cracks me up over in any of the Facebook lighter groups, whether it be OTLS or I don't know if I've had that problem on the dependableflame.com group. I know I've seen it in the Vintage Lighters and Matches group and Lighters of the World. I think that's the one that's really bad in, where there's not an admin paying any attention in that group, and you will find tons of, well, some of them even have pornographic links posted there. Somebody posted a pornographic link in the dependableflame.com group last week, or maybe over the weekend, and it was very nice because Facebook immediately told me when it happened and that they had removed it, and then that took me to a page where I could decide what I wanted to do with that user, and so I just went in and blocked that person from the page. So yeah, we don't need links, whether we're here or on the dependableflame.com Facebook group, wherever it happens to be. We don't need links to new disposable butane lighters, or really any disposable lighters at all. Any new lighters. I guess there might be some reason, but most of what I've seen as far as that goes seems to be pages that join groups and then share their links to those groups. And to me, that's just spamming. It's one thing to share content. It's another thing to spam people. And yeah, anyway. Well, I appreciate that, Sofa. I'm going to just call you Sofa so I don't accidentally pronounce the other thing. Um, when I first started, I made little short videos because I was just making videos to integrate into my eBay listings so that when they clicked on eBay and saw it, not only could they see pictures, so they could see the video of the lighter working. And that's not really necessary anymore because you can post short videos to eBay now. I still do it. I still embed them in the listings. But I make much longer videos. But I've changed my my philosophy, not just about the show and tell videos, but for the repair videos as well. Used to, if I had already documented changing say a Zippo wick, which this one doesn't even have a wick in it, but if I had already done that, then I wasn't going to do it again. But to some degree, I've changed a little bit because I've heard that same sentiment from people that they enjoy watching, that it may not even be necessarily that they're paying attention. It may be on in the background while they're working on or doing something else. So yeah, I've gotten to where I pretty much try to document every project that I can, which gives me obviously a lot more possibility of making videos because, I'm tinkering around here every day making, on a project, on some kind of lighter project. I shouldn't say every day, the vast majority of days during the week. You guys know that it seems like I babysit at least once a week, sometimes two, sometimes even more. I babysit my granddaughter. So in that case, then I'm probably not going to, or may not, depending on what time of day. But if I'm around here from 8 to 5, then I'm going to have some projects going on. So I might as well be videoing them, is the way I look at it. And also, kind of the idea that every video doesn't have to end perfectly. I've ruined lighters. I can't remember making a video where I ruined it and then, I don't remember making a video where I actually ruined it, for one. But then I definitely don't remember publishing a video of me ruining a lighter. But, here lately there have been some projects that I really expected by the time I replaced the wick, got them fueled up, that lighter was going to be working, and it's not. Well, it happens. So might as well show people that it happens, right? That's sort of how I look at it. And, some of this stuff I'm pretty proficient at. It doesn't take a whole lot of skill to wick a Zippo, to clean out the flint tube in a Zippo. Some of the other things are a little bit more difficult, to wick certain lighters or clean out. So, just like whoever's watching the video may be ignorant of the lighter they're looking at, some of these lighters that I'm picking up, I'm ignorant of them the first video I make of them. It's not like I got tons of experience repairing all of these different mechanisms. So, there's going to be some element of failure here. But yes, Sofa, I hope that you will binge watch as much as you like. And, keep an eye too, or keep in mind as you're watching, if you have a question come through your mind, something that you would like to see that you aren't running into here on the channel, projects on a certain lighter or some specific question about, flint, wick, fuel, whatever it might be, hit me up and I'll do the best I can to get a video up on that subject. That's a good philosophy, I think, Gary. And, I don't collect that many lighters. Excuse me, I don't collect that many lighters. You guys have seen my Penguin Cygnus collection. It's up around 20, and then I have the lighters that are personal to me, like the T-Man lighter that ZF77 custom etched for me. And then I've got some others, the JDH lighter from Gavin Lannon, the Bear Cygnus table lighter from Bill Calkins. I've got plenty that were bought and are in my collection because they reminded me of loved ones that have passed on. So I'm open to any mechanism, but I'm also in kind of a, I may not collect that many lighters, but I kind of get my, I kind of scratch the itch of wanting to collect those lighters by having so many different lighters pass through my hands that, I'm going to have to sell them. I'm not going to be able to keep them. But, I get a little bit of joy from having worked with them. I'm going to keep lighting this Thorns here just to see how well it lights. So far, I'd say it's been, I don't know, maybe 70%. A little better than 50-50. Jen Kim, glad that you have joined us. I don't know how many of you guys know Jen Kim, but I keep meaning to get over to Reddit. And I'm not sure, you have referenced several times the, what's the proper word? The, not studies, but I'm sure you're going to say it down here at the bottom as soon as I'm trying to search through these up here at the top. What's the word? I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on this. The work that you've done on fuel economy, but I also appreciate Jen Kim because he's always there to confirm whether or not all the paperwork that comes with a particular lighter was original, or the insert, whether that's the right insert for a Zippo. So there are a lot of really key details when you are showing off a lighter that, I might be ignorant of. I think that most people know that somewhere there in the early 1960s was when they quit using the hollow rivet for the file wheel. So you got some nuances that, many people will pick up on right off the bat. Same thing with like hinges. Most people know that 49 was when the 3-barrel hinge stopped and they went to the 5-barrel. So I know some of those major things, but Jen Kim is fantastic at knowing some of the more nuanced details that, to be honest, I don't even know how you experiment was the word I was looking for earlier. I don't know how you even undertake those experiments. That's seems like too much of a chore to me to actually, do the hard work of labeling things and knowing how long I've fueled this or that. I work better off the seat of my pants, I think. But of course, I think that that's something that a lot of lazy people say too. Try to say you're better at it just because you don't want to put in the hard work. But I appreciate that. But I do need to get over there. If you could remind me, Jen Kim, where that's at Reddit. Is that a Zippo? Open up my iPad here. Is that a Zippo subreddit? When I opened up my iPad here, had a I'm not sure if it's on a video, but I had a notification of a comment from Dylan DePie on the community thread where I posted the link to this live stream, saying he'll see us at lunch. So hopefully we do see you here in a bit, Dylan. Oh, getting confused here. Opening Reddit. I got to admit, Jen Kim, I've used Reddit a little bit, but at least through the app, which is every time I would log in on a browser, they'd want me to download the app, so I started using the app. But this is not the most user-friendly app that I've ever encountered. But I do think I found the Zippo Reddit here. It says there are 34,348 members and 70 of them online right now. There's Dylan. Must be lunchtime. I'm glad you're with us, my friend. But anyway, getting back to all the work, the experiments that Jen Kim has done with fuel and all that, I appreciate every time that you chime in, my friend, and let me know whether the paperwork is right, whether an insert is right, box, all that kind of stuff. All those details are very interesting to me. I'm just kind of ignorant of some of them. Another viewer that we've had, and I run into him on the Facebook Lighter groups as well, that is very good at all that kind of stuff, is Mario Bear. Mario used to chime in all the time on in the comment section of our videos. Gary said he loves Zippos too. I do too, Gary. I got nothing against Zippos. I'm a fan. But, you know, a Zippo's kind of boring compared to a semi-automatic mechanism like a Thorens that, you know, has enough power behind it. It feels like it might just jump out of your hand. Zippos are cool. Nothing wrong with it. But nothing wrong with the others either. Get my camera back around here where it should be. Yeah, there you go. Naphtha. There's people that force patina on lighters, and there's all kinds of stuff you can do to give your lighter a little bit of character, especially if it's already got some blemishes. Yeah, the biggest thing for me, Azrael, is keeping my hair out of my face. So I think when I made that video last week and just decided at the spur of the moment after that spring flew through the air to cut a little clip to put in there, I didn't have a headband on or anything, but I wear a headband a lot. Cut sleeves off t-shirts and use that on my head, under my hair in the back, and then across my forehead. But, you know, ponytail's a viable option too. But, you know, you got to have pretty long hair. It's as long as my hair is, it's just now getting to the point that all of it, front and back, I can comfortably get into a ponytail. Now, talking about the long hair, Azrael and Gary, how old are you fellas? I'm 52 years old, so I really can't even explain. I've had long hair a lot of my life, but not all of it. Pretty much had long hair for the last 12 years or so. But when it's not long, it's shaved completely down. That's been rare lately, though. I never figured we would have hair talk here in the chat, but I like it. Yeah, I'm glad to, I don't have to search for video ideas around here right now because I got so many lighters. But I've got plenty of other lighters that have, which reminds me, I still need to, was that Gary that we were talking about I still didn't dig in there and try to find another Windmaster. I think that was Gary that brought that up last week. I still need to try to figure out a method to remove the lid from a Windmaster. But yeah, that kind of thing is exactly, I need to start keeping a list. So here you guys go for, just so you know, first one, Windmaster. Lid. Stormmaster lid removal. So I'll keep a list here of projects that I need to look into. So yeah, don't ever not ask for a certain video if that's what you're needing. Yeah, well, sometimes it's an adventure, Sometimes I know what I'm doing, sometimes I don't. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It can be frustrating, It'd be nice if every group that I got in, the flints had been removed way back and not allowed to degrade in the tubes. But to be honest, 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't have been able to get the lighters in the condition that, or for the price that I did, if they were in a better condition. So I'm not really complaining. I enjoy the work. I enjoy the lighters. It's frustrating when you got one that you think should work and it doesn't. But that's part of it. Part of it's frustration, part of it's fun, but it's all part of it. Yeah, and entertainment, good. Yeah, it's good, clean entertainment. You're solving a problem and creating a tool that you or someone else can actually use. Or, if you're not going to use it, you could sell it. There's 1,000 reasons to get into the vintage lighter hobby. Azrael's talking about the MCOs. It's been a while since I've had an MCO. I need to try to acquire some of those just so I can contribute when you guys talk about them, Azrael. I actually can't remember the last time I had an MCO. It may have been when I was still living over in Midwest City. Yeah, and for the most part, that's why a lot of what we call lighter repair sofa is not so much repair as refurbishing, because in that case where you break the tube off, and I'm trying to remember, I don't think I've had that happen in a Zippo lighter. I've had it happen in park lighter where the tube just spun. I've had that happen also in a Bauer Surefire lighter, or a Bauer Stormmaster lighter. And that's part of where I say sometimes, I've ruined a lighter or two. And sometimes, like the Bauers, it seems to me like that was already, I don't think I even did that. I think that tube was already spinning. But I've had a Regions, no, it was an IMCO or an IMCO, it was like the 6800, but it had camel on it. I may still have that lighter around here, I'm not sure. But drilling out the tube of the flint, and I had a drill bit catch and just completely spun that whole mechanism apart. So, yeah, I've had some catastrophes. But you live and learn. I'll think again before I put a power drill to work in one of those lighters. Yeah, the fuel evaporation test. That's what I was getting at there. Where do I find the fuel evaporation test that you put up? Where do I find that on this? Let's look at the community info. It looks like there's about 9 moderators. I don't see an obvious place where that would be posted. Or do I need to search from within this? Let me search fuel evaporation. See, I think sometimes, I asked you guys how old you were earlier because of the conversation about the hair. But I'm 52 years old, so, I'm fairly good on, with technology. I'm not an expert or anything, but it doesn't scare me. I'm not afraid of it. But at the same time, I think that a lot of times I overlook obvious solutions to, depending on the particular platform. Like I said, I still don't have any idea. Okay, here we go. First attempt measuring rate of evaporation in a Zippo lighter. Are you Necronius, Jen Kim? I'm getting way behind on the chat here. Okay, gotcha. So then the only way to do that pretty much would be to search it. All right, I'm going to try to speed through this and catch back up on the chat. Yeah, Glenn Zippo page, Sofa, that's a good one for sure. I published an article, one of the last articles that I wrote on the website. I hadn't written anything on there in a while, but one of the last articles I wrote was about dating Zippos, and I included, there were about 6 different sites that I think are helpful, and that's one of them. They've all got sort of their um, they're all missing something, it seems like. And then there's some of them that have certain elements that none of the others do. So that I love Zippo, I think, is the one that has the easiest, as far as for the older lighters, one that's easiest to read and get most of the information. But I don't think there is an exhaustive source. Hello, Mimdry. Glad to have you with us again this week. You say you got another lighter. And Eric Corner Princess. Yeah, I'm ignorant of that lighter, but when you say it's from Austria, then that immediately makes me think it's probably a good lighter, because they made a lot of good ones. If you get a chance, post a picture over there on the DependableFlame.com Facebook group. I'd like to see the lighter that you're talking about, Mimdry. Yeah, Jin Kim talking to Sofa says GlenZip is a great resource, as is the Passionate Wick. But I found that they're a bit behind on some data. Yeah, it seems like most of them are. Or maybe even, like I said, I don't know that there is a page out there that has everything. There's a few date codes like the 1961. Is it the 61 Slim that has two different? That's only listed on one of them. Some of them don't have the difference in the was it 1979 zip code, or not zip code, date code for Zippos. I used to be a postal employee, so Zippo codes are pretty close. Easy to understand how zip code just slipped out of my mouth. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about the 90%, but yeah, like I said, I think that they're all missing something. Yeah, I agree. It frustrates me, Jen, because I get notifications and then I click on the notification and it won't show me what it was just notifying me about. And yeah, maybe I need to just go hit it from a browser. Okay, Gary. So you're a little bit more on the more mature side of life than I am. Or I mean, as the same as I am. I would say you and I are a little bit older than some of. Seems like a lot of the people that I interact with on the internet about lighters are younger. Not like kids, but occasional teenager shows up. But I think a lot of people in their 20s and 30s. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Mimdry. I've had a receding hairline since it showed up when I was in my late teens. Fortunately, it hasn't receded real fast. It's kind of holding steady for a long time here. But I've known friends. It sounds like you may be talking about something a little bit more severe, but obviously at 14, if it's already caused you to go bald. But it's there's nothing wrong with being bald. I've lived a good portion of my life bald, and it's there's definitely not as much. Just random hair floating around when you're bald. Sofa says that he won't buy a lighter that says it sparks. I'll buy it in any condition if the price is right. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that approach either. You know, there's a guy, I can't remember his actual name, whether it's, we'll call him Fred just for our purposes here, in one of the ashtray groups, and his name is $1 Fred, and he says he'd never paid over $1 for an ashtray. Well, you know, everybody's got their own criteria. So that's what I love about the vintage lighter hobby. Tobacciana, all these kind of things that we collect around this same sort of subject. Smoking, basically, of different, not that we're all smoking the same things, but smoking in a variety of different ways. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying, so I'm going to move back to the chat here. Oh, that you don't buy one. So whatever criteria you got, I think it's cool. We talked last week about our friend Bill Calkins and collecting lighters with his name on them or variations of his name, and the fact that gives you the ability to collect literally any lighter as long as it has your name on it. Well, some people, you know, they collect ships, Navy ships, or U.S. military ships, or other countries' military ships, or you know, different locations, or advertising from their home state or home area. So many different ways to collect, and I don't know that any of them are wrong. You say you have a cheat sheet of links on a spreadsheet. Oh, those links back to the Reddit posts? Is that what it is? Yeah, I'll get over there now that I've figured out at least how to look you up or found one of those posts. I'll look at them a little bit more so that I can refer to them when I'm having those conversations. I'm sure I haven't made my last video about evaporation out of a Zippo. It's a question that always comes back up for sure. Okay, Mark says those kind of catastrophic messes are why I prefer a solid steel or brass insert. What catastrophic mess were you talking about, Mark? The tube breaking or coming loose? It says aluminum will oxidize and corrode in non-dynamic or damp, salty environments just like steel. Yeah, you know, I've always wondered, because it seems to me those aluminum inserts that Park Industries did, I've had some of those where the flint degraded in the tube and hardened to the point, I don't know if it's because it was able to adhere to the aluminum tube or what it was, but I don't believe I've experienced this quite so much here recently. So maybe that was just, maybe it was even one group of lighters that caused me to believe that way. Maybe I worked on them over a period of time. I can't remember. But I do remember at one point I was convinced that those aluminum constructed inserts could make the flint harder to get out of the tube than it was. Most Zippos, it's 3/32 drill bit and not much pressure at all, and it'll come right out. But I've had some others, and especially some Parks, that I just had to give up on. Hello, Zippo Lions Den. Glad that you have joined us. Yeah, I need to get one of those. I need to get an IMCO, Azrael. I need to do a little bit more. Like I said, I'm familiar with them. Probably more familiar with I think the Sunflower was a copy of the IMCO. But I have had some of them. It's just been a while. I haven't been, I've really only been involved with this for the last 6-7 years. So I don't know much about old formula fuel. I can tell you, I don't think there's any difference in the Roncinol and the Zippo fuel now. They seem to me to work interchangeable, and they both work in every lighter that I put them in. And especially, I bought 2 more bottles of this last week when I was at Winco, because they had them for like $4.20 a bottle, there and about, for the 12-ounce bottles, which is way better than what you can get Zippo fuel for on Amazon, or even the little, is it a 4-ounce bottle that they sell at Walmart? They sell those for $2. So that'd be a $6 12-ounce bottle. But they're even more expensive on Amazon. All right, Professor, sorry if I missed you. Glad that you were with us. Zippo Lions Den is with us. He chimes in that he's 49. Jen Kim's 49. Yeah, so we got a lot of us here around the same age, sort of middle-aged. Yeah, definitely vintage, Terry. Mimdry, you can just let me grab the other iPad here. You go to Facebook, type in, you may have to, mine's auto-populating here, so you can see those 2 up there, but you may have to type in the whole thing. But dependableflame.com page, that's not the one you want. The group is the one you want. And you can see there's a little over 500 members in there. But anybody, you may have to join it to post, I'm not sure. But join the group. You're not going to have to answer any questions or anything. You just join. And then you can post over here. Post a picture of your lighter, show us what you got. And everybody, hey, Shaggy Rifleman has joined us. Glad that you are with us again. But all of you, feel free. I hope you'll join the group. I hope you'll enjoy the camaraderie and the posts in the group. Our friend O. Arp Henningsen has been posting a bunch of his lighters over there. And but you know, post lighters that you want to trade, lighters that you would like to trade for. If you just want to show off your lighters, you can do that. If you got questions, all that stuff, the dependableflame.com Facebook group is a good place for it. It's a Google sheet, okay. Yeah, oh, excuse me, hit the microphone there. I'm not sure if that made a sound or not, but yeah, Jen Kim, you can, I got a couple of emails, bossman@dependableflame.com, and then also Joseph Dwayne Hudson at gmail.com. Either of those work. Can you guys hear the leaf wranglers outside? You know, Sofa, that actually would not shock me. I mean, I'm not a weather expert or anything like that, but it's pretty humid in Florida, is it not? It's pretty humid in Oklahoma too, but just the moisture. I think the more moisture you got, the more a flint is going to be prone to degradation. Cool, Mimdry, glad to oh, cool. So yeah, that's I have not had that lighter, but I have had a similar squeeze type lighter. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. Seemed like the one I had artwork on it. Yeah, really cool. That's awesome. And I appreciate you posting over there as well. Trying to remember the exact name. I'd have to go back up the. Okay, there you go. Eric Kohner Princess. So I guess the Eric Kohner is the brand. Princess was the model. It looks similar to some Arthur Dubsky lighters, which was Austrian. So how things going, Shaggy? I mentioned, not by name, but I mentioned you in a video last week. I think it was a video. Maybe it was could have been a live stream. I think it was a video. Welt Zunder. Zippo Lions Den's asking about a Welt Zunder lighter. I'm not sure exactly. I have seen some. I've seen that Zunder 1000. Is that the one you're talking about? So Dylan chimes in on the IMCO debate and says, save your money, Joe. Sad to say, genuine IMCOs are junk. I've had several, none of them lasted a month. One literally 24 hours, I broke. It's over-engineered. A Chinese knockoff is more reliable. Now tell me this, Dylan, where did you get your IMCOs? You're talking about like salvaged? Or something that you bought new? Because I know that those ones that are being sold right now on Amazon, I know that those are made in China. They say come of Austria, something like that. They don't say made in Austria. So are you talking about old ones that you salvaged, put a new flint in, fueled up, they were junk? Yeah, Gary, I may have had. I'm familiar at least with the Corona, but I don't think that's one I'm thinking of. Oh man. Yeah, I'll have to look back through some old videos to see. Well, there's a bunch of Dubsky lighters out there, Mimdry. The Champ Austria lighters are Dubsky. The Champ-O-Matic is a Dubsky design. There's a bunch of squeeze lighters. And, you know, some of them very expensive, but others not. So you can definitely get acquire a Dubsky lighter without breaking the bank. So Azrael says that his Chinese knockoffs broke on him really fast, but the Imco one lasts. We'll see if Dylan wants to respond to that. This Weltzunder lighter that you're talking about, Terry, is it similar to the Mill Flams? Automatic lighter, slipcase lighter? So I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but those leaf blowers outside are really annoying. I don't know that I've published the video for this re-wicking this insert yet, but this is the one that we have the rubber gasket on. But I put it through the washing machine, and it was full of water. And a couple weeks ago on the live stream, we added a little bit of fuel to it, and it lit right up. But then it wouldn't. It just lit a few times. So anyway, that's when we pulled the. It looked like it was about out of fuel anyway. It lit a while ago, but flame is waning. So we let it dry for a few days, and of course made a video for putting it all back together. But this has been the one Zippo petrol lighter that I have kept fueled up here for the last month or so. I just haven't needed as many lighters as I was there for a while because I'm not smoking as many joints as I was. Basically, and I think this is really going to be good for the winter too, because I don't want to be going out there in the cold and smoking. But basically just been using the live rosin. Live rosin with a vapor straw. Yep, that's the T-Man lighter. Thanks to ZF77. Got ZF77's logo and T-Man's logo. Beaker bong with the weed leaves. Somebody hit me up in the comment section of the etched leaf Zippo, which is a very old video, and they said that's not I called it a leaf design. I called it a leaf design because that's what Zippo does. I think that's the way they're listed on Amazon, and I think that's also what the sticker on the box just said etched leaf. It didn't say etched marijuana leaf. But he said that's not a leaf, that's a weed leaf. Well, like I said, I know it's a weed leaf, but it's still a leaf. Yeah, I'm telling you, I would have never thought living in an urban setting like this, I would deal with some of the noises that I deal with. Well, I kind of, this is a medical legal state here, Sofa, and so I think I'm smoking enough. There for a while, I was going through, I don't know, 10, 12 ounces a month, but I've cut way back on that. I mean, most days now I don't even light up. But that live rosin, I've used a lot of different kinds of dabs, a lot of live resin, and different diamonds and sauces and all that kind of stuff. But that live rosin is a whole different animal from most of the dabs that I've ever used. It's good stuff. All right, Mimdry, glad that you joined us. Thank you for posting over on the DependableFlame.com Facebook group, and hopefully we will run into you more often over there, and hopefully you'll keep joining us here for our weekly live stream as well. Appreciate you joining us. Okay, you're talking about the welts. What did I just do here? Here we go. Zippo Lines says they're kind of like an old Ronson, yet the lighting mechanism looks to be an arm that comes up from covering the wick, and the strike wheel is horizontal on the front of the lighter. Yeah, I think you're talking about that mill flam type. I think. But was you said that was at a local. If you get a chance to take a picture, Terry, take a picture. Post it over there in the Facebook group. But yeah, those are cool lighters. I kind of, just like Sofa earlier said, he won't buy a lighter that sparks. I just, $30, $35 for a lighter, that's not, I don't pay that much for a lighter very often. If I'm going to pay that much for a lighter, it's going to be worth over $100. But once again, you kind of got to remember how I came into this in the first place. I am a collector. I mean, I really am. I just don't have a huge collection. But collecting is secondary because for me, every lighter I buy, for the most part, like I said, occasionally I will buy a single lighter that goes into my collection. But most of those Cygnus lighters that are in my collection, those were bought in groups, where the other lighters in that group more than paid for me keeping that particular lighter. So When you say that those welts under, I think you said there were 3 or 4 of them with $35 price tag on them. I usually pass on stuff like that, but I don't have a lot of disposable income, and so for me, it's all about the return. The cool thing is when you know, for having that sort of philosophy where I'm not willing to pay, I don't pay exorbitant prices, and I'm not saying $35 is. I think that's a fair price, maybe even a bit of a good deal on the lighters you're talking about. Just not a steal of a deal. So anyway, that's just my philosophy. But if you get a chance to take a picture, I would like to see which ones you're talking about. And but you know, it could be that $35 is, you know, I can definitely see if it's the lighters that you're thinking of, or that I'm thinking of. I can see them being bringing twice that. So $35 might be a pretty good deal. Yeah, a leaf is a leaf. I have been going through and memorizing the last 2 books of the Revelation, the last book in the Bible. And when it's talking about Jesus making all things new, and he's describing everything he saw there, it's talking about the New Jerusalem, and that there is, it says, in the middle of its street and on either side of the river is a tree of life, which bore 12 fruits, each tree yielding its fruit every month. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And so that's always, or not always, but here lately made me wonder. I know that marijuana has some healing properties. There are some things about marijuana that, you know, seem to be sort of miraculous. So anyway, I'm not saying that marijuana is the tree of life, but maybe some distant cousin. Yeah, you know, Azrael, I don't see much going on over there on that Discord, but I still go over there every week before we do the stream and post the link, and glad to have conversations over there as well. Yeah, well, you know, I had a little bit of help with that, but yeah, there was a good while there were 10, 12 ounces a month. But, you know, it's a little bit different for me, or at least I think my perspective on it's a little bit different. You know, I've never been the kind of guy that just sits on the couch and smokes weed. It was when I first quit drinking, which the weed helped me to quit drinking, but it also helped my appetite tremendously and was very helpful to me as well, especially when I was living over in the house in Midwest City by myself and first started down this road with all these old lighters. It was very motivational to me. You know, I could partake of some of that and get up and start a project, and next thing you know, hours had gone by and I was 4 or 5 projects down the road. I think a lot of people's perception of marijuana and its effects have been colored by popular culture, and for one thing, it's not a destructive substance, and I think in many ways it can be helpful. But that being said, I went from, it's not addictive either. That's the the sort of weird part. People always want to compare it to alcohol, and it's not even apples and oranges. It's like a difference between a fruit and a vegetable. Alcohol is so destructive and so addicting. But yeah, people quit weed all the time. People don't destroy their lives with weed. Anyway, we'll get off of that now. Unless y'all want to bring it back up. But yeah, 10, 12 ounces, I understand. It is quite a bit. But, now I've gone from 10 or 12 ounces a month to, I don't know, maybe 8 grams of live rosin. There you go, Gary. I don't even remember when that started, but that is definitely weed related. But I started that way back when I first, I don't know if that started with the YouTube channel or Facebook group or I don't remember when the peace sign started, but yeah, and that's why another reason why I say that the hobby has a place for everybody. There's plenty of people. I mean, there's one guy. Some of you probably know who I'm talking about. I mean, I've seen this guy on multiple occasions talk about how he spent over $1 million putting his collection together. If I did that, I don't think I'd be telling everybody. I don't understand. That's a lot of money, man. To me, that wouldn't be fun. Now, I don't know. Maybe this guy's so wealthy that $1 million isn't that much to him, but the way he throws that out there, it sounds like it's a lot of money to him. But yeah, there's no way. In order for me to buy a lighter and keep it in my collection, then yeah, I can't be spending that kind of money. And the lighters that I buy to sell, obviously using a little bit more discretion there. I can't buy a lighter for an overpriced, for too much money and then expect to get, still to make money off of it. So but that's really two different kinds of questions. Like I said, I've got, I don't know, maybe 50 lighters in my collection. Only 1 or 2 of those is brand new, never used. Most of them are used, salvaged. But, I've owned way cooler lighters. At least, for the way, the Black Crackles, sterling silver Zippos. But there was never I never had a question on any of those really expensive lighters. The Ronson Debonair, that was one I would have really liked to have kept. That was just such an excellent lighter. I don't know that I've ever had a lighter that worked so well and that you just felt so confident every time that you actuated it. But, bought that lighter in a group of a few lighters for, I think it was just a little less than $100. And I didn't know exactly how much I could make off of that one, but ended up selling that one lighter out of there for $380. And it's that kind of thing that enables me to keep moving forward, keep making videos, keep writing the articles on the website, all the things, It's it's a pretty vast web of projects, and then where those projects, where the documentation of those projects gets pushed to, whether it's writing about it on the website, publishing long form video on YouTube, short video on YouTube, Facebook, and now also Instagram. Pinterest was a big part of my operation at one point. I still push those links over there, but I don't build as many links as I used to. And it's really just the videos I push over there, not the other stuff. So anyway, I got so many irons in the fire. But like I said, it's being able to buy a lighter, know that that lighter is going to go for more money, and then I'll be able to turn around and buy more lighters. That's what keeps lighters passing through my hands and me being able to make my content. So yeah, another Gary, you're complimenting Zippo Lion's Den on his collection. That was another cool idea that I thought he had, was was it 50 years of Zippo, Terry, where you got one for all those years straight in a row. That's, again, there's a million ways to collect, and you know, most of them are valid. That I thought was a really cool one. Mastodon Comics and Music, glad that you have joined us. Happy that you've commented on the video a few times here in the last week or so. You know, well, the people that smoke marijuana and just watch TV all day, I think that's, I don't know, maybe that's more akin to my alcoholism. Maybe that's why people look at it. But I think with a person who smokes marijuana and sits on the couch all day, that's a personal choice. Or they bought into the perception that that's what marijuana does to you. Marijuana just makes you happy and content with whatever it is that you're doing. If you are, you know, heavy, ready to get into a project, then it'll carry you there. You'll have a good time. If you want to sit on the couch, and if that's what you're planning on doing anyway, then yeah, you can smoke weed and sit on the couch. But it can work a lot more as a motivation, you know, even the way that a lot of people use caffeine. Yeah, you know, and that's kind of the way I was before I used it, Gen Chem, is I was kind of indifferent to it. I didn't do it because it was illegal. But then I did use it to help me get off of alcohol, which helped save my life. And from that point, within a couple of years, sorry about that. I need to figure out, I've got all kinds of things set on my phone to where it should not ring while I'm on YouTube, and yet it continues to happen. You guys let me know if that took us offline or anything. Getting back to the comment about marijuana though, once it became legal here, then that obviously changed a lot. So I'm certainly glad that I live in a legal medical state. Okay, good to know. Thank you, Gary. I apologize for that phone ringing. What kind of table lighter are you looking for, Mastodon? I might have this one for sale soon. We were talking earlier about what color felt pad I should put on it. So we still got a project or two to do on it. And may include another re-wicking. And it may even need a little bit more. Like I said, it's probably been about 70%. Most of the time it's lit, but not every time. But I got a few other table lighters floating around here too. But even if I don't have something to sell you, what kind of table lighter were you looking for? Lift arm style, you say? Yeah, and you know, that's a fair price, depending on the condition of a Black Crackle Zippo Lion's Den. Yeah, that's not bad, because there's people that pay $250 for Black Crackles all day, every day. I've had 3 of them, and all 3 of them were. One of them was in a group with. 2 of them were in a group with other lighters. In groups with other lighters, I should say. 2 different groups. Bought it 2 different times. One of them was in a box with just a bunch of other junk. Not junk, you know, just like typical small stuff. Leather, screwdrivers, you know. Maybe a pocket watch, you know, stuff like that. And Black Crackles are cool. They really are. But, you know, there are also a ton of them out there. Let's see here. Jin Kim says he thinks it would be nice to own a good ST DuPont lighter someday. I do too. You know, this lighter kind of reminds me of ST DuPont. It's one of the reasons I like it. And I would really like to have an ST DuPont petrol lighter. But I'm always open to a good, dependable butane lighter too. The problem for me with the ST DuPonts is price. They're just a little bit more on the expensive side for what I'm going to buy. So in other words, I'm going to have to buy it in a lot or something. And then I don't work on butane lighters, so. But yes, I do like the idea of a ST DuPont. Do you have, are you anti-butane, Jin Kim, or are you okay with butane? Some folks are indifferent, some folks don't like them at all. I use them, I just don't work on them. And Sofa asked, how often do you post lighters for sale on eBay? It's really just when I get to it. Go to my website there and click on under the Vintage Lighters tab, current eBay listings, and there's a few there that need to be brought down because they've already sold. I think there's one listing up there that I haven't completed right now, so the links on it are not active. But it's I think I've only got 11 listings right now in my eBay store, but I've probably got 100 lighters around here that need to be listed. So I'm far enough ahead right at the moment as far as getting videos uploaded into queue. I think right now I'm working on the week before Christmas, so I'm over a month ahead on that. So yeah, I'm getting ready to start listing some stuff soon. So if you've seen anything recently, that you're interested in, let me know, and I can try to list that stuff first. But yeah, I'm going to try to, that goes back to how many facets of this operation I got going on. There's a lot more that goes into listing a lighter than just listing the lighter, because I facilitate that through my website. So I got to create those links over there. I do that with affiliate links, which I earn a commission through. So anyway, a lot of nuances. It's something that I've done enough that once I get going, it's not that big a deal. But when I haven't listed for a while, it seems like a big chore. Yeah, I definitely have to follow my budget. And that's why the majority of what I buy is in groups, big lots of lighters, rather than, when you buy lighters in groups, lots, whatever you want to call it, then you have the opportunity, because most of those, a lot of times it'll just say vintage lighter lot. It won't even say Zippo, Thorns. They won't even list the brands that are in it. So everything in there might be unidentified. Wow. So, Jen Kim says that Zippo Lion's Den has inspired him to do his own version of the 50 years of Zippo, but with lighters that actually have a year stamp. What do you mean by year stamp advertisement? Yeah, I'd be interested to know what you mean by that, Jen Kim. And Terry says that he did the 50 years, but he's actually got one. Wow, so that's 50 to 99, so then that's another 24, so that's 74 plus 2. So what's that, 76 years of Zippo, Terry, you got there? Yeah, sofa. It's something I've talked quite a bit about it, and it's shameful. It's unbelievable how you can get carried away by a substance like that. It was me that was making those decisions and was pouring that alcohol down my throat. But what a terrible decision that was. And praise God through Jesus Christ that he did not leave me there. But yeah, I'm glad to be clear of it now. But it's a shameful thing to consider how I ever let it get a hold of me like that to begin with. Well, the cool thing about table lighters, Mastodon, is, you just about every company made one. Here you got a Right Point View lighter. That's a table lighter. Got the Park table lighter, which basically looks like a park lighter just with a base added onto it. So there are table lighters that are affordable. There's the Ronsons. Those are a dime a dozen out there. So I bet you can find something that you're interested in for not too much cash. So you collect a lot of comics, Mastodon? I know that's something I never got too far into. Back in the 90s for just a minute or two. Yeah, that's the cool thing, Jen Kim, is even for those that don't smoke, there's plenty of uses. other than smoking. And like I said, I'm more than just neutral on the. And I just saw your email arrive here on a notification, Jim Kim. So thank you. I'll check that out here when we're done. What was I talking about? I'm not neutral when it comes to marijuana because I think it is beneficial. I think that it has some properties that, like I said, seem to be miraculous. I think that it really does something. The cancer patients that eat it seem to do so with great effect. So I'm a big proponent, but I am definitely anti-tobacco smoking. So nothing wrong with not smoking. Well, like I said, Sofa, just let me know if there's something that you've seen in a video recently. Oh man, I don't remember the last time I listed any lighters, so I know I've got some park advertisers to list. One's that Atlantic traffic etch and paint type graphic. A couple of them are anodized aluminum cases with different graphics, multicolor graphics. But then I have a bunch of these aluminum block lighters, and I don't really know what all I have to list. So anyway, that'll probably be what I do when I get off here. Try to get some of that done today. Once I get the lights and everything set up, I always feel like I need to work on making some videos, so probably do that too. But I've already taken a lot of pictures to get lighters listed, so try to make that a bigger part of my day here now that I'm a little bit ahead on getting videos scheduled. Oh, I got you. Okay, yeah, that's a great idea, Jin Kim. Saying so, not just brush chrome Zippos or whatever, but an actual advertisement. Yeah, that kind of give you a vision of advertisements through time, as well as, you know, the variations on the bottom stamp. Yeah, that's a great idea. Has some year marking it, the specific year of the lighter. Oh yeah, that's going to be a little bit more difficult too, because you can find a lot of advertisements that wouldn't necessarily have the year. So yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Sofa, but you know, to be carried away by a substance like that you know is deceptive, and to keep allowing yourself to, you know, once you pour it down your throat, there's no telling what happens. But you know, I could have made that decision just like I did December 16th, or no, December 13th of 2016. So coming up on 7 years, just as I made the decision that day that I was not going to drink, and that day it wasn't my choice because I was being held in the hospital against my will in the psych ward. So, but I could have made that decision at any time, and I didn't. I allowed it to carry me away, and that's why I say it's shameful. I don't say it's shameful because I'm trying to shame anyone else. I would want anybody to know there's hope. There's great hope, especially in Jesus Christ. But there are also, you know, like I said, I think I could have quit. I know I could have quit with God's help without the weed, but I can say that with the aid of the marijuana, it was easy. It really was. And again, that just kind of adds to the shamefulness to me. But once again, I'm not trying to say that because I'm trying to you know, shame anyone else, or if that's something that somebody is in the middle of, in the throes of right now. There's hope, and life is so much better without it. But, you know, when you allow that alcohol into your system, it allows you to lie to yourself. Alcohol may be a neutral substance, but man, it'll certainly allow you to do a lot of negative things. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Sofa. What kind of music you like, Mastodon? You say lighters, comics, and music. I got a thing for country music. A guy named James McMurtry I really enjoy listening to. Um, a guy named John Michael Talbot, a Christian music artist. I think he's actually a Catholic monk now, but he recorded some music back in the late 70s that I listen to today, and I love his music. A song called Alleluia. The Imperials, another Christian group. Michael Card. But country music as well. Like I said, I listened to that Zach Bryan, his latest album, a couple times here lately, and I dig that pretty good. Kind of reminds me of James McMurtry. John Fulbright, Michael Fracasso, Turnpike Troubadours, Cross Canadian Ragweed, Jason Boland, the Red Dirt that we have so much of around here in Oklahoma. That's my kind of music. Yeah, I can't help you on that. I'm trying to think if I've even seen a Champ, the Champ Jetstream butane. I think that may be the only butane Champ lighter I've ever seen. Mastodon, which you know, those jet pipe lighters, petrol jet pipe lighters, like the Beatty Jet or the Jetstream. There's a few others of them out there. Somebody commented on one of those videos this past week, but it worked just as good as the Beatty. And those are all cool. Definitely lighters that are worth collecting. Yeah, I've been there, Gary. You know, case a day beer drinker, a fifth a day whiskey drinker. I've drank just about everything at some point. I never really was a Scotch drinker, but I drank a lot of beer, and I enjoyed the beers. I like wheat beer. And then as far as whiskey, man, yeah, bourbon whiskey mixed with Coke. But I've drank plenty of like 70 proof apple flavored whiskey, Canadian whiskey, Crown Royal, Evan Williams. I drank plenty of that kind of stuff just straight over ice, and that's what I was drinking when I quit, was whiskey straight over ice. But I enjoyed the dark German beers; those were good, and even the regular, you know, not the dark, but just they weren't light beer; they were light colored German beers. Beck's. Anyway, yeah. There was a lot of alcohol that I liked, but I'll never drink any of it again in this life. Mainly not just for my health. I mean, obviously, for me to drink a beer today probably wouldn't do anything to me health-wise. But I just wouldn't do it simply because I don't ever want the people around me to have to worry about it again. And if I were to have any kind of drink of alcohol again in this life, I promise you, there are plenty of people around me that would have reason to be worried if they saw that. So I don't want to put them through that. And like I said, I'm not missing it anymore. Alcohol was a drain on my life, and it wasn't a good thing. Yeah, it's now there are people who can use alcohol and use it responsibly, and I did it fairly functionally for a long time. I say fairly functionally because there were those who were around me, people I worked with, who obviously knew that there was something going on. But for the most part, I took care of the things I needed to take care of. There were just like gaping holes in my responsibility here and there. So Mastodon says that he likes mostly heavy metal, but a lot of different stuff: jazz, 80s, new wave, and of course country outlaw. Oh yeah, man, talk about outlaw country. Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings, and there's Chris Christopherson. Plenty of the old country. I mean, I love the old country. There's some good new country music too. Most of it doesn't seem to be what they're playing on the radio. There's some, Chris Stapleton. That's some real deal country music. Eric Church, to me, that's real country music. But Luke Bryan, that's for teenage girls. That's not real music. Bobby Bear, there you go. Bobby Bear was one of my dad's favorites, Gary. Yeah, my dad used to quote Bobby Bear all the time. Yeah, I don't know if it's got anything to do with toughness. It might have something to do with dedication, but it's misplaced. But the problem, Gary, with drinking 30 beers in a night is you're going to have to expel that much liquid. So the more you drink, the more motivation there is to have something that is stronger, so that you're not spending all your time in the bathroom and no time getting drunk. Yeah, I appreciate all you guys, and I really wasn't trying to make this a advertisement for not drinking, but I'll tell you, if you're one of those people who that drinking is a problem for you, I can tell you 100%. Life is great without it. You don't need it. It's only causing you problems. And don't believe the lies that it's telling you. Life is good without it. Oh man, yeah. That's another thing, Jen Kim, and something I didn't really think that much about at the time. But I'm sitting here today at probably between 150 and 155 pounds, and that's pretty light. And being an alcoholic, like I said earlier, it ruined my appetite, it ruined my stomach, and at one point I was barely 130 pounds. I got down under 130 pounds. But at one point I was over 235. So I'm only 5'8" tall, 235 pounds, and yeah, drinking a lot of beer will do that to you. Which, like I said, I wasn't drinking beer at the end, but I drank a lot of beer on the way. But I appreciate all of you guys this week, and I'll try to get some lighters listed here soon. If you guys got anything that you want me to do a video on, or perhaps do a demonstration here live on the stream, then hit me up. Let's talk about it, and I'll see what I can do. But I'm going to take off here and try to get a few more things. There's Turner. Turner was the one that was asking me about the jet lighters in the comment the other day. And yeah, those other jet lighters work really good, Turner. But they are hard to find. You know, you can find the Beatties pretty easily, but the Rogers Rocket Flame and the Champ Jetstream, and I can't even remember now. Seems like I've had one other, and there are, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 others out there that I know of. Yeah, we've been going here for almost 2.5 hours, and my phone's about to run dead. But don't sweat it, Turner. We'll be back around next Wednesday. I've got so far, I think I've got videos scheduled through like the 18th or 19th of December, and I've got every Wednesday left open for a live stream. So, but I appreciate all of you joining us, and hopefully you'll check in throughout the week over on the DependableFlame.com Facebook group. Check out the website. There's plenty of articles over there to read. There's an article on the Champ Jetstream you might like, Turner. I'm always confused, Turner, whether I should refer to you by Turner or the Booty Wrangler. But anyway, there's some jet lighter articles over there. There's Zippo articles. There's all kinds of articles over there. Like I said, I think the next to last article that I've written over there was giving you links to all the places to date Zippos. Also, remember, I mentioned the Facebook group, but also we're now posting videos, a few videos a week over on Instagram, and also trying to post a few shorts each week on YouTube. Haven't gotten around to posting on TikTok. Might have to add that one into the mix. But glad that all of you have joined us. Jen Kim, I will check out that email that you sent. Let me check out these last. Okay, Mastodon is saying good day. Sofa, glad that you joined us. Turner. And of course we had Gary and Zippo Lions Den and Jen Kim. Azriel, NAFTA was with us back at the beginning. Memdry again, Mark Burris, Dylan DePie, the professor. Shaggy was with us for a moment. Gary, of course. So anybody who's here that didn't say hello, I appreciate you being here. Anyway, next week, I hope you'll join us and join into the conversation. Well, now that's funny, Gary. I just saw your comment up here where you said that you eat like a horse, you're 5'8", and you never weighed over 140. Yeah, 140 to me, people were worried about me. I've lived most of my life at that height, probably in the 170, 175 range. So 120, when I got down to 129 or 129 and change. I know it was under 130. That definitely was a little frightening. But comfortably now back up above about 150, 155. So anyway, Mastodon, glad that you were with us. All of you, Turner. All right, I appreciate you guys, and I will see you again next week. Let's see if we can get a lighter to light here. Until next time.